All right. Hopefully, the Wi-Fi will hold up through this show here. But welcome in to Football Friday here. My good buddy Reed will be along in a second. We got some FCS playoffs to talk about, some previews. We got the NFL draft coming up tonight in a little under 3 hours. Merry Christmas, everyone. It is draft night. I'm excited for the first round tonight. We also have a bunch of NFL news, mainly fifth-year options getting picked up or not, as well as draft rumors going on right now. So let's get this thing rolling here. I'll get the PowerPoint going, and we'll see when Reed comes in here. A sec. All right. So we have NFL news here. We'll start off with the essentially of the FCS, the Walter Payton Award. The FCS has announced 3 finalists. So first off is Eastern Washington's Eric, their quarterback, Sacred Hearts running back Julius Chestnut, and Southeastern Louisiana quarterback Cole Kelly, all announced as Walter Payton Award finalist. And that winner will be announced on May 15th. There were 16 total players getting votes, first through fifth place votes. In fourth place was VMI's wide receiver Jacob Harris. Fifth was North Dakota's running back Otis Weah. Sixth was Alabama A&M running back Akil Glass. Seventh was Delaware running back Dejon Lee. Tied for eighth, Monmouth running back Juwan Fari, and South Dakota State running back Pierre Strong. 10th was Sanford quarterback Liam Welch. Tied for 11th, James Madison running back Percy Agi Obase, and Central Arkansas wide receiver Tyler Hudson. 13th, East Tennessee State running back Quay Holmes. 14th, Presbyterian wide receiver Keith Pearson. 15th, Austin P wide receiver D'Angelo Wilson. And then 16th, Fordham quarterback Tim DeMorit. So those were the 16 total guys receiving votes for the FCS version of the Heisman. Only one other piece of NCAA news here, which I don't know. I know a lot of people don't like him, but the NCAA did extend President Mark Emmert contract. That is now running through 2025. So we did have a couple trades this week in between our Monday show and today. Obviously, we're doing our Football Friday show on a Thursday because it is draft night. I am wearing my Penguins jersey because the Penguins are playing tonight. So I will be trying to multitask, live streaming the draft as well as, and it's loading. See, that's Hulu for you. But yeah, I will be multitasking, watching the Penguins game and live streaming the draft. So first trade here. Washington football team, Eric Flowers, and a 2021 7th round pick. They get that from the Dolphins. number 250, number 244, another 2021 seventh goes back to Miami, just a swap of seventh rounders for Eric Flowers here. As you can see in the picture, he was already a Washington football team player, played with them before, after his stint with the New York Giants, and then went to Miami and now is going back to Washington. So there you go. I think it's a good move, for Washington. They need offensive line help, so good job by them. The second one is probably of bigger notoriety. The Broncos. They traded for quarterback Teddy Bridgewater from the Panthers. The Panthers get back number 191 overall, a 2021 sixth-round pick. I thought it was a little low for Bridgewater's value, but it got what they could, I get, out of this. So good job by them for getting anything out of Teddy Bridgewater. I thought that was as best that they could probably get at this point. So those were the two trades here. Let's get into the other NFL news. The Eric Flowers trade, he restructured his contract. The Dolphins are paying $6 million signing bonus. Washington football team will pay a $3 million base salary, so he will get $9 million fully guaranteed there. The Teddy Bridgewater deal, along with that, they pay him $7 million. The Broncos will pay $3 million. Teddy gets $10 million for this year, and he will count $17 million in dead cap money against the Panthers this season. In other quarterback news, the Steelers, they are expected to extend quarterback Mason Rudolph. A one-year extension is expected to happen soon. That will push his contract through 2022. So, is he the successor to Ben Roethlisberger? I don't know. I do think he deserves a shot what he did against the Browns last year in that Week 17 game, better than I had seen him play ever in the NFL. So we'll have to wait and see for that. Couple other re-signings here. The Raiders, they re-signed restricted free agent kicker Daniel Carlson. He will remain their starter in Vegas there. And Antonio Brown, he is back with the Buccaneers. Again, they continue to just keep everyone. So Antonio Brown back to the Bucs on a one-year, $3.1 million deal. Good value for the Bucs. Made some moves here. They reworked tight end Cameron Brate's deal. That cleared $4.69 million in cap space. The details on that are a $2.425 million signing bonus, $1.075 million base salary, with the team option for the last 2 years of the deal. A guy that came up today that was a signing, had not really been in mentions before. The Seahawks, they signed 2016 first-round pick, Cardinals 2016 first-round pick, defensive tackle Robert Nkemdiche. He was last on the Dolphins in 2019. But, it's just a flyer. Defensive line is a big need for Seattle, so good for them to just try to find anything out there that they can to get pressure on the quarterback. Fifth-year options here. The Steelers, I'll go over the ones that got exercised first, and then there's only one that was not picked up here. But the Steelers, they exercised safety Minkah Fitzpatrick's fifth-year option. Bears doing the same with linebacker Roquan Smith. Lions picking up center Frank Ragnall's fifth year. Colts doing the same for guard Quentin Nelson. Saquon Barkley got his picked up by the Giants. That is $7.217 million fully guaranteed for 2022. And then the Panthers, they picked up DJ Moore's 5th-year option. Saints also doing the same with defensive end Marcus Davenport's 5th year. Only one that I saw that did not get picked up to this point, the Bengals and offensive lineman Billy Price. He is not getting a 5th year in Cincinnati in 2022. All right, so some draft rumors here. The Saints, they are expected to make a trade up. I had it for corner Caleb Farley. Could be for any other corner. There are reports that they could possibly trade up into the top 10, possibly. But also, I don't know. We can see if it's for a quarterback. I'm hearing it's not for a quarterback. It's most likely for a wide receiver or a corner. Try to get one of the Alabama boys at wide receiver, or one of the top 2 corners, Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn, there for New Orleans. Also, the Niners. They have been in the news here. Teams have been calling about quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not expected to be moved at this point. I haven't heard any updates on Jimmy Garoppolo being moved or not, but he does have a non-trade clause that kicked in last month. So we'll have to wait and see on that front if Jimmy G gets dealt here. Most likely not today. I would think it would be, if he does get dealt, it would probably be tomorrow on day 2 of the draft. Another quarterback. Major story out of Green Bay right now. Teams have called about Aaron Rodgers. Again, like I said, the Niners. I've heard on Aaron Rodgers' list right now is the Niners, Broncos, Raiders, and the likes. But Adam Schefter today reported he is unhappy with the Packers, and that he has told some people in the organization that he doesn't want to come back this season. So Ian Rappaport said that it was due to a contract issue, that he wants to get an extension, and the extension wasn't to Rodgers' liking. So, who knows about that? I'm not sure that he does get traded. It would take a lot, even with him being in his 30s. I don't know. I think Reed's coming on here soon, so I'd like to get his thoughts on the Aaron Rodgers deal. We'll see if he gets on here soon. But we did have one other last NFL news to go over here, and it involves former Broncos, Jets, Patriots, and Eagles quarterback Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is back in NFL circles. He apparently worked out with the Jaguars tight end coach. Obviously, he played under Urban Meyer at Florida. And he is now ready to switch to tight end, as he is 33. He's done with baseball. And I guess he wants to give the NFL one more go around, not at quarterback, but at tight end. So who knows if Tim Tebow will be catching balls from Trevor Lawrence in 2021. Would definitely be something interesting to watch. There's Reed. What's up, man?
Yo, what's going on, Rusty?
Nothing much. Got through most of the NFL news here. I don't know if you wanted to chime in on anything that was on the script. Some of the 2 trades we had. Also,
yeah, I was actually I was pretty interested to see that Seahawks signed Nkemdiche. He's actually from the same county where I'm from. He went to a high school that I was like a rival high school of one that I was playing at. And I remember I was like in middle school and he was coming out, and he's like the number 1 overall guy in the country when he was a high school senior. So pretty interesting to see. He was a first round pick. I think he's for the Cardinals. But it hasn't really panned out yet, but it's nice to see he's getting another chance. Seattle's kind of been known, not really the last couple of years, but before that, for their defense. So hopefully he can, kind of get back to where they were back when they won that Super Bowl with Russ.
Like I said, they need all the defensive line in Seattle right now. So,
and our guy Roquan.
Yeah. Like I said, I pretty much finished all the NFL news. But let me get your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers. The pending situation in Green Bay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love the guy. I think he's one of the most talented, it's just skill wise, arm strength wise, guys we've ever seen in the league. But when you think of Aaron Rodgers, I mean, you think of Green Bay. So it would be really hard to see him playing somewhere else. I kind of think, I don't think the front office has treated him with, the respect that he deserves based on what he's done for the franchise. But I could kind of see this being like a Tom Brady situation where he just goes to a place that has literally everything except for the quarterback.
Yep.
It turned out pretty well for Brady this year. I was talking with my roommate about this today, and first team that came to mind was the Saints for him. They got a huge hole to fill with Drew Brees being gone, and that would obviously be a scary team with Rodgers and Sean Payton matched up together, and that would also be a very scary division, especially if the Falcons go and get Pitts, and then there's just all kinds of offensive weaponry going on in that division.
Yeah, I think for one, I think the Packers wouldn't want to trade him in division. I know he wants to go back home. He wants to go to the Niners. That's one of his teams. He also
really
said possibly the Broncos or the Raiders as well. So
yeah, the Raiders would be interesting because I actually really like Derek Carr. I think he doesn't get enough credit for what he does. So that would be interesting to see how that works because I think Gruden really likes Carr too. So that would be crazy if they moved off a Carr. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers I think he's just he's a once in a generation type player. So, I mean, if you had the opportunity to land him, you'd probably have to do whatever it takes. He immediately makes you at least a conference championship contender, if not a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah. One thing I did see today, just within the last 15 minutes, a tweet that said no Packers quarterback has ever played 17 seasons with the Packers.
Jeez.
Brett Favre.
I was going to say, what about Favre? How many was he there for?
Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers have all played 16.
Wow, Rodgers has been there for 16.
17. This would be Rodgers' 17th year if he played in 2021.
It does not feel to me like Rodgers has been here for 16 years. That's wild.
Yep.
and the
05 draft.
He fell to 24, right? He was supposed to be a top 3 guy, and he fell to 24. Something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And I was also pretty interested with the Cameron Brate deal. I mean, that team is so loaded with tight ends with Gronk and him and OJ Howard. They just, I mean, the weapons on that team are disgusting. It is just a wealth of riches in terms of offense on the Bucs.
Yeah. Also getting back Antonio Brown this week. Brady's the only quarterback he'll play with. Antonio Brown's turning into Gronk. He'll only play with Brady now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I mean, you got to think that some teams were at least, trying to find a way to, maybe get over his off the field situation because he's obviously an incredibly talented receiver. But if he has enough money by now, he probably just wants to try to get a couple of rings with the GOAT.
Yeah. And the last thing on the NFL news there, Tim Tebow is back in, NFL circles and apparently going to play tight end if the Jags are going to sign him. And
really?
It did work out for the Jags. Yeah, he worked out for the Jags tight end coach this week. Obviously played under Urban Meyer at Florida. So
right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
He's 33.
I had heard that Well, he must really believe in Trevor then. He's not still
Yeah.
doing the whole baseball thing, is he?
No, he's done with baseball.
So
yeah,
that's a heck
I
of
don't
a
know.
professional life he's had thus far.
Yeah, he's made so much money though; it doesn't even matter.
So much, so much.
All right, so that's all the news. Literally, it's because I got pretty much everything else. So
Yeah, I got a question.
yeah,
What do you
let's go
think
guest
about?
previews here.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering, what do you think about this whole thing with the Broncos getting Teddy? So, I mean, do you think the Panthers are going to go ahead and try to get a quarterback, or you think they're going to stick with Darnold? And do you think the Broncos think Teddy's the guy?
Yeah, it's definitely an intriguing situation in Carolina because I read off all the fifth-year options that got picked up that I had heard about anyways so far, and Sam Darnold's not one of them. The Panthers haven't picked his fifth-year option up yet.
Wow. The deadline's Monday, right?
Yeah, I don't remember when the deadline is for that.
I think I was reading where they got to decide on those things by Monday. So I guess they'll see after the draft how the draft turns out.
Yeah, I think if one of the quarterbacks is there at 8 and they like them, then I think they would do it. Even if Sam's out to be, really good with them, they can always trade one of the two.
Right.
So that's what I would do anyways. So getting into the FCS preview here. So this is the only non-playoff game that is happening this weekend, but this is the only game on Saturday actually too. All the FCS playoff games are on Sunday this week. But the SWAC championship game going on, Southwestern Athletic Conference, number 24, Arkansas Pine Bluff against Alabama A&M. Both teams undefeated here. A&M, I'm surprised A&M is actually favored just because Pine Bluff, for one, is ranked. And
yeah,
I don't know. I thought that Pine Bluff would be favored. This one is at a neutral site game. It's at Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium. That's where Jackson State plays. So,
yeah, I'm looking at a thing right here. They've got Alabama A&M winning by 7 over Pine Bluff. So the underdogs, well, I guess they are. You said they are favored, but the team that's not ranked is getting a lot of love. So that'll be, very, very interesting to watch. See how that turns out.
Yeah, this should be high flying, very high scoring affair here because of what the quarterbacks can do.
Yep.
The running games, the leading rushers for each teams are not that great. I mean, I know it's 4 games, but still, leading rusher for Arkansas Pine Bluff, 168 yards off 53 carries, and 52 carries for 213 yards for the leading rusher on A&M. But the quarterbacks, however, they've been pretty good. 1,005 yards, touchdowns, 3 picks. Arkansas Pine Bluff's quarterback Skylar Perry, Alabama A&M's Akil Glass. He has 1,084 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. So,
yeah,
I do think it'll be a close game.
Pretty solid touchdown to interception ratios, both those guys.
Yeah, I do think it'll be a close game. And I don't know. Actually, I'm kind of switching, just looking at the 4 games that each played. I think A&M has played the better teams and beat the better teams. They beat South Carolina State as well as Jackson State. So I'm actually going to go with that Alabama A&M instead.
Yeah, I think I'm sticking with A&M as well. think it's a pretty dynamic passing attack that they got going on. So I'd pick them to cover. Maybe a push. I could see a 3-point win.
Yeah. Yeah, and their quarterback actually, Akil Glass, was ended up 6th in the Walter Payton Award voting,
Yep.
the Heisman for the FCS. So
got a first place vote.
Yeah. All right. The over-under for that one is 61. Like I said, it's high scoring. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes. And this one is 3 p.m. ESPN 2. All right. Now the fun part. FCS playoffs. Here we go. We're into the quarterfinals. Number 6, North Dakota State, favored on the road by 3 points at number 2 seed Sam Houston State. Again, I was surprised who the favorite was. I know they're North Dakota State. I know they're a million times champions in the FCS. But this is not the old North Dakota State teams. Sam Houston State is the real deal this year, and that's why I picked the Bearcats in this one.
Yeah, I mean, you don't normally see 2 losses on the record for North Dakota State. I think I'm reading right here, they're 37-2 all time in FCS playoffs. So this is a team that's not used to losing. So 2 losses in 1 year, that shows you they're definitely not the team that they usually are.
Yeah. I just think, couple things I have for Sam Houston's case here. Their head coach, Casey Keller, he's 28 in home playoff games between his time at Sam Houston State and when he coached at Delaware as well. So he's never lost a home playoff game. I don't expect him to lose again. I don't expect him to lose this one either. And also, what I think makes the biggest difference in this game is Sam Houston State's defense. They've only allowed 5 of the last 19 opponents to run for 100 yards. And this spring season in their 7 games, they're only allowing 58.9 rushing yards per game, which is the biggest obstacle to stopping North Dakota State, as we saw last week, because last week North Dakota State just ran wild. Yep. on Eastern Washington. That's really the reason they won, with Dominic Ganella. Hunter Lupke didn't have a great day, but Ganella and Jalen Bussey there, those 2 freshmen combined with Hunter Lupke, and quarterback Cam Miller can run as well. So I said it last week when they played Eastern Washington, you have to stop the run because Cam Miller is not advanced enough right now in his freshman year to throw the ball and beat you. So
yeah, certainly not putting up Trey Lance numbers quite yet.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, well, they finally listened to me though last week when they started Cam Miller over Zeb Noland. I was saying that since like week 2 of the spring season, and they finally listened in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, led to a big 42-20 win. See if keep that rolling.
Yeah, so I had the Bearcats plus 125. That is the first leg of my parlay. I picked all 4 games in my parlay, so we'll have a slide at the end to see what my FCS parlay is of the week. Over-under is 47.5. Now, that's tough. That's right there, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go under. I think both teams score just in the low 20s.
Yeah, I like the under too, especially with the run defense for Sam Houston State you're talking about. I like the under, but maybe I'm just going to show a little recency bias, and I'll take North Dakota State outright. I don't know about cover, but I'll take them outright.
All right. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm on Sam Houston. I'm on the Bearcat train outright money line. This one is 3 p.m. on ESPN on Sunday. Next game here, number 5, Delaware, the Blue Hens at number 4 seed Jacksonville State. The Gamecocks getting 3.5 here. I am not taking money line on this. I have Delaware plus 3.5. Do think the Hens can win if but I do think it's going to be close enough that if they do lose, they can cover 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, I hate 3.5 point spreads. I mean, field goals at the end of the game is what could make or break your pick. Seeing right here. What was I seeing? Oh, yeah, Gamecocks coming off a 35-point win last round. That's pretty ridiculous for a playoff game.
But
so I might have to go with
they played Holy or Davidson.
Davidson, yeah. I got a buddy that was a kicker at Davidson, so I got to show him a little bit of love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like the Gamecocks in this one. Especially when we're getting into some games that are not neutral site, so got to put a little bit of home field advantage into it as well.
Yeah, I mean, this one was probably the toughest game for me to pick. But for this one, Delaware leads the FCS in points against per game. They're only letting up 11.3 points per game this spring season. And to go along with that, they've only let their opponents get into the red zone 13 times in their 6 games, which is kind of crazy. The Hens defense here, they're allowing 50% completion and 111.3 pass yards per game. So that's why I like the Hens plus 3.5. Defense, kind of the theme here for me in the first 2 games. The one thing I will say for Jacksonville State, you were right on the home field. Jacksonville State, they're 39-6 at home under their current head coach, John Grass. So,
yeah, pretty solid home record right there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised Jacksonville State wins. I just think it's going to be close enough.
You also got to consider, 12 games versus 6. This is kind of a little bit of what we saw with Division I, Ohio State. Not saying that's the reason they lost to Alabama, but you kind of get the feeling that when you play 12 games versus when you play 6, maybe you're more fresh when you play 6 games, but when you play 12, you're just kind of developing experience in season. And so I think it's more beneficial in terms of the experience versus the freshness to play more games as opposed to playing less.
Yeah, well, 4 of those were in the fall. They went 3-1 in the fall, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, they went 3-1 in the fall there. So
yeah.
All right. The over/under for this one is low, the lowest one of the weekend, 41.5. Now, Delaware played a 19-10 game against Sacred Heart last week. So I don't know. I'm probably not touching that, but
yeah, I mean, I kind of like the under. I mean, Jacksonville State has a solid rushing offense, but again, Delaware in their 6 games, only 11.3 points per game allowed. So that bodes well for the under.
I agree. This one is 3 p.m. ESPN 3. Next game here, number 7, North Dakota at number 3 seed James Madison. I have JMU money line in this one. This was another very tough game to pick. I was thinking about going North Dakota, but I think Harrisonburg is too hard of a stadium to play in where JMU plays. So that's why I'm going with the Dukes.
Yeah, I mean, James Madison is, when you think about FCS domination, you think about obviously North Dakota State, but James Madison is always right there with them. And yeah, I would go with James Madison to not only win but to cover this game. First in total defense and second against the run. Obviously having a good run defense is always key. late in the season. So I got JMU here, -2.5.
Yeah, that run is one of my bullet points for this game, and they've only allowed 100 yards rushing in 3 of their last 22 games since 2018. They've also won 10 straight home playoff games. Like I said, very tough to play in Harrisonburg, Virginia there. North Dakota, however, they have held the time of possession advantage in every game except their lone loss to North Dakota State this year. That is why James Madison will need to lean on their running backs. Percy Agi Obase there. And I don't know why I'm blanking on the other guy. He ran for a 99-yard touchdown. Juwan Hamilton, yeah. It literally came to me right when you were saying it. Yeah, 99-yard touchdown to open the scoring last week, which was actually the longest touchdown in FCS playoff history. So,
yeah,
and then the last point, the last point I have for this one is James Madison's kicker, Ethan Rackey. He has a career 84% field goal percentage. So, if it does come down to it, they will cover with a field goal by Ethan Rackey.
Yeah, well, I mean, Vegas always knows. So sounds like they're going to be hitting a field goal as time expires to cover.
Yeah. The over-under for this one is 52.5. A little bit bigger there. I think it just depends on how this game goes.
Yeah, I mean, we're just talking about how good of a defense James Madison has. But that's not a crazy high. You know, we've seen a 61 over-under in the slate. So this is not crazy high, but it's still pretty high. So, maybe they're banking on a lot of points from James Madison. Or maybe they're thinking James Madison's defense falters a little bit.
Yeah, because James Madison's game against VMI last week went to 55 points, 31-24. North Dakota's game against Missouri State, 44-10, 54 points. So I'm going to go over just barely.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got the over in James Madison to win outright and cover.
All righty, that one is 6 p.m. ESPN 2 on Sunday. Last quarterfinal game here, number 14, Southern Illinois, heading to face number 1 seed South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits are a 15.5 point favorite. I was shocked by this.
Crazy. I mean, look, in the playoffs, anything can happen. I like Southern Illinois to cover. I hate high. I hate when it's a large spread like that. I mean, you look at March Madness this year, UCLA versus Gonzaga, and that was like a 14-point spread. Gonzaga was favored, obviously, and it came down to a buzzer beater 3 just for Gonzaga to win. Forget covering. So I hate large spreads when games really matter in the playoffs like this. So I know we're a little early on this, but I got Southern Illinois covering.
Yeah, I didn't touch the spread, but I think where odds makers were going with this is they went back to the game they played against each other already this year.
Yeah, blowout.
South Dakota State absolutely annihilated Southern Illinois on the Salukis' home field, 44-3.
Yeah, I'm gonna dive in the psychology of it a little bit, thinking South Dakota State might have it easily again, and Southern Illinois might show up with a chip on their shoulders and surprise the world.
Yeah, I do like the Jacks in this one.
Oh, definitely.
But I took the under on this one as part of my parlay, under 54.5. Because South Dakota State, they're averaging 29 points per game in their last 2 games. Southern Illinois has been part of 2 shootouts the last 2 games. They were averaging 44.5 the last 2. So that doesn't bode well for the under. But overall this season, South Dakota State is only allowing 14 points per game. They also they both do have solid running games, but Southern Illinois is allowing 201 yards rushing per game and 5 yards per carry, which bodes very well for the South Dakota State team, who has a running quarterback to go with Pierre Strong and Isaiah Davis as well. So, but I still like the under. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I don't think they're going to go, in a shootout.
Yeah, I mean, last time they played, the total was 47, so the under would have hit then. I think it'll not be a 41-point game this time around, but I like the under as well. And then, obviously South Dakota State to win. But I got Southern Illinois covering.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also went with the under just based off South Dakota State's game against Holy Cross. It was only 34 total, 31-3. So late one here, 9 p.m. ESPN2. I'm just happy that these games are finally on national TV and I don't have to watch them on the dang ESPN app.
I hear you.
So, all right. So to recap, my parlay for this weekend of FCS, I've still never hit one this year. I've been close. I've been close 3 or 4 different times throughout the season. I've missed by 1. Last week, I got killed by Eastern Washington. I had them +7. I thought they were going to do it. They got 35 unanswered against them and lost by 22. But this week, Sam Houston State money line, that's +125. James Madison money line -140. Delaware +3.5 against Jacksonville State. That is -110. Also -110. South Dakota State, Southern Illinois under 54.5. So that is 10 to win almost 100. Yeah.
That's solid. I actually, I've been, for the most part, I like to, make picks, but I've been mostly staying away from actually sports betting. My roommate's big into it, and I don't think he's ever won money, and I don't like to lose money. So for the most part, I've been staying away from it. I've had a few experiences where I was like, oh, I think this is absolutely a lock. I'll throw some money on it, and then of course it doesn't hit. So for the most part, I've had some bad experiences with it. But I do like to at least try to make the picks to see if I would have been right.
That's why they call it gambling, my friend.
It's brutal.
All right. So that is the show. That is our pre-draft show. We're almost 2 hours now from draft. We'll be back at 8:00 tonight for our draft coverage. The Wi-Fi on the Hulu holds up and it doesn't keep going out like it has been. Hopefully my Wi-Fi on my computer holds up. But yeah, next week we will be back on Friday for Football Friday and not on Thursday like this week. But next Friday we will have FCS playoff game previews. That will be the semifinal game previews. There will be 4 teams left. Also, we will be starting our draft review series, and we will be going in reverse order of the first round. So we'll start with the NFC South next Friday. All righty. Thank you, Reed, for coming on. I appreciate it. As always, don't forget to follow us here on YouTube, as well as our Facebook page at FAA Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And then check out our website, faapodcast.com. We're also on Spotify as well. All right, Reed, I will see you later, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. It was a blast.